I found this video which is like super mind-blowing. At least it was for me, maybe not likewise for you, but still, please do say and listen to it, because I think it's very touching and profound about how the way that he sees the future China. So we can all get to see like these videos in the media, like social media. If you just write China future, there'll be like so many statistics and so many like import export rates about China exporting to this country, China importing this, and overall it's mostly numbers and a machine speaking while the video is playing with some b-roll of like China agriculture industry, manufacture, etc. But this is different. This is kind of a note directly told by an individual that is facing the situation abroad, overseas, and how he, as one individual, sees the whole China for the next 50 years. And this can tell wow, how to say, speaks volumes of, if it's just this one individual thinking this way, so therefore, so yeah. I remember when I went to China for the first time, I arrived to Hangzhou, and my teacher told me when Marco Polo discovered Hangzhou, he supposedly said like it was a dormant dragon somehow. There weren't many abroad overseas people knowing, and there still aren't, although we have these videos about the potential of the country, especially because of the people. I am very sure that one of the presidents focused on the population in order to be this world power. Anyways, let's go to the note, and please do let me know what do you think about it. Trade war, it's about to start again, and Mexico needs to take a side. So for that being said, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for us to keep coming to Mexico, start businesses and investing here. That's for sure. Besides, Chinese are almost in every industry, and the competition has intensified these last years. It's much more harder than before. I remember back in the day, I didn't have to work that hard. Therefore, you have to be very careful whenever you arrive to the Mexican market or to the Mexico country. You have to be very careful in watching clearly. Take your time, study it well before deciding what to do. You have to research it very slowly. You have to dedicate more time to research and then decide whether or not you go for the project. Regarding the projects that you want to take along, try to tackle the project that is lower cost and uses the less resources possible. In the last few years, I have been doing very important projects. Each one of my projects has an investment of 100 million yuan, and I have so far completed 5. In reality, to go overseas is quite new for us, Chinese. But for Japan, Korea, or the USA, their products are sold everywhere, globally. It's not hard for them. The brands and enterprises of these countries are like synonym of quality and trustability. Is that a word? They have expanded globally since the beginning of times, starting to colonize, starting to sell their merchandise far away. We are not here to say who was right or wrong, but to go overseas and conquer like new markets, to their eyes, is quite normal. Of course, we cannot compare ourselves to them. We have a huge quantity of enterprises in China that haven't gone out to new territories. The true wave of the big and small Chinese enterprises globalization hasn't even started yet. In this moment, I am just trying to find a way for myself, a path. It's not easy to create something from zero, being so far away from home. But we have to do it. We have to take the path of entrepreneurship. The first group of Chinese that went far away overseas were the ones that went dagong, working. They were workers. Slowly, they accumulated wealth and started realizing or started working in projects. Japan has Japanese in foreign territories. They're creating Japan outside of Japan. The production forces of the Japanese enterprises overseas is almost or equal that the one that is in the Japan itself. The production of the goods, the gross production that is actually in Japan is just almost the same as the overseas, but the funny thing and the curious thing is those goods are not made in Japan, although they are Japanese companies, Japanese enterprises overseas in some other territories with Japanese workers and Japanese managers and Japanese maybe everything. They're Japanese, but they're no more in Japan to this degree of expansion. They have arrived. They have a big history conquering foreign lands. They have a lot of long time, maybe decades or maybe centuries of history. Therefore, they have already their standardized processes. We have to build a very solid foundation. Let's say I imagine maybe in 50 years' time, the Chinese enterprises will also be abroad just like theirs. Our children or our grandchildren, we need one generation after another to complete this great mission of foreign expansion. It's not something that you can accomplish in 5 to 10 years' time. A strong country, strong businesses, strong brands, their products must be sold everywhere. I believe there will be a day like that. I don't mind training others. I know that we do great things and we are the benchmark in so many areas of different industries and markets. And to make a big difference like this one, maybe we will have to wait till the grandsons of our grandsons. And then we will become proud and say we fought with all our strengths to transform China and conquer new markets beyond our own borders. Maybe we will not be here anymore, but I'm sure that it will be like that. To go and conquer abroad seas, a matter of generations. Guys, give me a break for my butt, but I'm trying. Maybe it's not my best, I don't know, but I'm just trying. So I just listened to this and I was just so inspired. I was so touched. Of course, I have been researching, studying, living, etc., in China, with Chinese, etc. But you usually will listen these videos in the CCTV in the news in the USA or maybe news channels in Mexico or overseas, where they will somehow show you, mostly, as I was previously saying, statistics about why is it that China will take over this and that economy in which year, and therefore sometimes it's just you're listening to them and but it gets to be a little bit plain. But this is the real, passion and purpose and mission and vision of them, of why is that they want to go overseas, of why is that they want to position their brands as, or they want to position the made in China with as a very different state or status of manufacturing. Wow, just like the made in Japan, Korea, or USA, right? Just something to be proud of. Wow, those brands are Chinese, they are synonym of good quality, and etc. So it was very impressive for me because this Chinese is here in Mexico and he came by himself maybe a few years ago, or long time, maybe 10 years. Although he's around the markets, it doesn't mean like people that is overseas fighting for, like, how to say, maybe doing a day-to-day kind of small business. They have a great vision. And I'm not here to talk about how great Chinese are or how great China will be. I don't know. I'm just communicating the note. And why is that I'm telling this is because in the comments that I've been receiving about my Mexican fellow country mates, they like a big part of them, they just complain about how China manufacture is so cheap, bad quality, etc. And most of them are just saying like, we have a very big deficit of like China just purchasing the 10% of goods that China is exporting to us. Like, this is not fair, it's unfair, this cannot be happening, we should be closing their borders to them, or just should be not admitting that many in order to do counterfeit market, do this, do that, because we're losing jobs, and it's just unfair. I did this video for them, and I was like, so what are you doing instead of just writing comments and complaining how bad the situation is, because they are coming here to sell to us, but are you guys going there to sell to them? I was like, they are so open, when I was there, they were like, what do you have? Like, do you have any goods from Mexico? Do you have any fruits? Do you have any... Back in the day, I also commented to them that I sold this chia. Chia was popular, chia-zi, to one friend. I researched a few suppliers. I also did like these jewelries. You guys maybe know about it or not. And then I also did like gemstone. There is this fire opal, a very popular like Mexico-made gemstone, which I also position in the markets of Shenzhen, Shuibei. I had a danko there. Like, there was this lady and a man that let me put my gemstones there and started business, But then again, so many times it was hard for me to go through, because let's say I did a little bit of I cannot explain clearly now. Anyways, there are these flowers in Mexico that they put in this like silver jewelry, and once I positioned those in the market, there were some clients that had some interest, and they came and they were like, so how many pieces can you deliver? We are interested maybe like this 100 of this. And I'm like, I contacted the supplier back in Mexico, and they were not able to supply such quantities in such a brief time frame. So I was just losing my mind once over another time, trying to open doors for Mexican products or Mexican businesses. And the result was like, after I did all this work of like finding a retailer, a distributor, the Mexican counterpart was not prepared for that kind of like consumption, So that was very frustrating for me. And after that is when I started the business of like exporting goods from China, which is by no means was one of my dreams. I mean, I really like it. It's great to help like overseas Latin Americans or Spanish-speaking fellows with their business. But it's not something I will feel like these Chinese is feeling like, wow, we put our name high in a market far away. I mean, maybe you guys understand. This is just trade. I mean, it's low value. There's not much. I mean, I take one thing, I resell it. Anyways, I just questioned him hardly. I was like, so you guys are complaining in the comments. You are just flooding my comment section, saying how unfair is for them to be selling here all the kind of goods that they're selling, especially because we are forced to buy, yeah? This is just so ironic. It's like nobody's forcing you to go and buy Hello Kitty or fakes or counterfeit or cheap goods or low quality ones. Like, mostly the basic necessities are not coming from China. Maybe a few products, but not like the majority of all the products that are flowed in the markets are or first necessity, like you must buy them in order to survive. Most of them are just fashion accessories and like jewelries, clothing, whatever. And of course, maybe some access like electronics, which can be basic. I bought this, by the way. This is an American brand with a China factory. So, do you guys understand my meaning? Hopefully you do. And just as a disclaimer, I don't come here to say who is great or what. I also wanted my country to be great. I also want my country to be great. And I do believe maybe one of the best options in that regard will be to collaborate with Chinese, because they have this drive, and at least we have some resources. So maybe that's a perfect match, because here people is just too relaxed. They don't have this hunger, this drive, this intention, or like I want to wake up and I want to make things happen. I want to see my country in 50 years time for my grandchildren, that I want to position or like put this hecho in Mexico, made in Mexico, high in the world arena to look upon as a wow, that's a synonym of quality. Made in Mexico is great, etc., etc. No, we don't have this kind of attitude or perspective about the future of our country. And that's so sad, because I do know that many Chinese see, and other also foreigners see, the richness of this country, but because we Mexicans are not taking advantage of that, then they just come and take advantage themselves, and then here they complain about how they take advantage, and that it's our country, and that why they are selling this. And it's like, wow, why they are saying you've been forced to go and shop every day for these goods? Like, why in the first place you are giving your peso to them? It's like your decision in the first place. Anyways, this was a very passionate video. And recently I've been receiving all kind of comments. Some are like, you are paid. I wish, because anyways, I have been speaking about China from long ago. So if my country is not paying me to speak good about it, then if Chungguo will, I will accept it. I'm not speaking good about I'm very unbiased. I think I have said some good and bad things about both sides. We both have, I think we kind of alike, because we both are very high corruption rates, as well as like very excited people, like we are reaching. So maybe we have better understanding as when personality comes, a Chinese and a Mexican, than a Chinese and an American. I believe maybe it's like that, because American attitude or personality is colder. They don't take things very they are not that effusive or high spirited. Although Chinese they can look cold, but once they are, they kind of feel you're trustworthy, they lose themselves. Anyways, what do you guys think about this video? And yeah. If you're enjoying the content, please do give this video a thumbs up, as well as I'll leave you some links to support me down below. And until the next time, kisses to the world. I love you all. And by the way, I'm not pro this or that country. I'm pro veganism, pro anti-animal cruelty. Anyone that is just against animal cruelty and all that, that is my side of the world. Either if it's somewhere in China and in Mexico, I love to help the ones that do not have a voice. Apart from that, everywhere is amazing, and everywhere you have something to learn from, someone to be with, have a good time. Why compare? Why defend? Why be pro something? That's just, we can be rich with a collaboration, and why I have to choose one side when I can be in the three parts of the world, China, Mexico, and here in my channel speaking English to you, USA, Australia, UK, etc. Cheers to you all.